Dory remembers when she gets this flood of memories is basically everything we've witnessed in the beginning of the movie. Just this, her being young, her being with her parents, but it's from a child's point of view. We don't remember, when we think back when we're like 5 or 3 or 2 or whatever's the earliest you can be, you only have the limited understanding and memory of what a kid could understand then. You don't see it from an adult's point of view, so you can only, conjecture and hypothesize what really was going on. And so she kind of has that type of memory about where she was in her past. And then the subsequent years of her just traveling the ocean and just those limited memorable moments. And of course she's going to remember a little bit more the older she gets. And so it all kind of comes to her, just the feeling of what it was like to be with her parents and the sense of the wandering with some specifics. But it's just vague enough that she doesn't have a clear roadmap. She just has a destination. She has this one phrase. She has the jewel of Morro Bay, California. And so that's just enough to go on. It's just enough of an address that it can give Marlin and Nemo enough to say, all right, let's go to that location and see if it triggers more. Hank, again, is very solitary, very uncooperative, but he's actually got a heart of gold deep down, and I think he's frustrated that he has it. And Dory, I think, senses it right away. And I think what makes it special is that she kind of brings him out of his shell by the end of the movie, and is able to uncover that he actually does want to be with loved ones, and as opposed to being alone. And I think that's a pretty universal thing with a lot of people that claim to want to just be left alone. It felt like, even though our sessions ended in 2003, when we started recording in 2012, it was like we just picked up where we left off. And it's just, when you've worked almost 2 to 3 years with somebody, that's one of the really nice perks, both for the crew and the cast, is it's a bit of a reunion, and you already know how you work together, and that's very enjoyable. Like, there's no learning curve, and it just becomes, all right, how can we just keep making this fun and exciting for ourselves to go further? And it tends to be, if the material's good and the story is that engaging, then it kind of answers itself. She makes things that you don't think are meant to be funny. She'll make something as simple as, well, I guess that's what we should do, or how's it going? And she gives it her own flavor that suddenly it's the most charming thing in the world, and you start laughing because you're just so charmed. You can't even explain why you're laughing. When we were thinking of who should voice this gruff, curmudgeonly octopus, the first name that came up was Ed O'Neill. And I think it's not only because Modern Family was on TV and still is, and one of our favorite shows to watch, but most of us had also grown up with Married with Children and had enjoyed Ed in that other flavor of being a frustrated father and sort of a patriarch. And so we didn't think of anybody else, so we went straight to Ed, and he took it. And he's so seasoned. I mean, his resume goes very far back, and he's quite the actor, both dramatically and comedically. And it was just a breeze. It was a breeze to work with him.
Dory has short-term memory loss, but she does have long-term memory loss, and she does have this thing we like to refer to as emotional memory. She never forgets in the first movie that they're looking for Nemo. It's important to not frustrate the audience. We want to make sure that the audience knows what she knows and what she remembers. So she's constantly reminding the audience, reminding herself what she knows and doesn't know, what she remembers and doesn't remember, but she has terrific emotional memory. She may not remember the details, but the emotions of what she's concerned about, she's very much aware of and is using that emotional memory. In Finding Dory, Dory decides that she wants to go along with Nemo on a field trip with Mr. Ray and his whole class, and they go to see the stingray migration. And in the process of the stingray migration, Dory is reminded of something. There's this word that reminds her of a memory, and ultimately that causes her to get caught in the stingray migration. And when she wakes up, she has been given a memory of her past. It's the first key or clue that she begins to remember her parents. She had forgotten about her parents, but because of this traumatic accident with the ray migration, she's gifted with a memory of her parents, and that ultimately kicks off this journey of her wanting to reconnect and find out what happened to her parents. Dory is played by the one, the only Ellen DeGeneres, and Ellen is the only person who could play this role. Andrew wrote this role for Ellen, and she's such an amazing actor and just personality that she infuses with Dory. It's so effortless. Even the smallest, simplest line, Ellen provides something magical to it that really allows it to come alive. And to hear her perform the role, to be involved in it was really kind of a homecoming. You feel like, oh, this is a character I know and love, and I'm hearing it again, and I'm just so excited to hear more from that character. So working with Ellen was a joy. It was really a dream come true. She's such an amazing performer, and this film is such a showcase for her talents. With Finding Dory, I think it's an opportunity to spend more time with characters that they know and love, and to see the continuation of the journey that was begun in the previous film. It's a continuation of a story that was begun when Dory asked the question, "My parents, where are they?" And we're going to find out about that and find out about a bunch of new characters that help Dory along her way and help her kind of redefine who she is and who her family is.
Did you know that filming on the Hunger Games Catching Fire left Jennifer Lawrence temporarily deaf in one ear? Sorry? What's that you said? For this and more movie facts, click on more videos. But if you want something else, click on the playlist.